whole leadership team when I was like, this is what we're gonna do. They were all like, people see Alex and Layla and acquisition.com as one entity. We are separating our content teams. So there's gonna be Alex, Layla, and then there's gonna be acquisition.com. It's now or never. It's never gonna be easier, it's only gonna get harder. I don't expect it to go perfectly. Late. Today is a content day. Oh, I've been in here, okay. How's your day?
Day's going good.
Which means that I wake up, I get my hair and makeup done, and then I trash myself in content with a live stream, an interview, a podcast, and then ended with a new thing I'm doing, which is called a walk and talk. How do we get content in a way that doesn't take away from normal life? I don't think ethically I could make business content without talking about how hard it still is for me. That's not good for people to think that they're gonna get to some point where business is easy. It's just not true. And I would feel really badly if people watched my content and thought that was what was gonna happen. Hi, how's it going?
My understanding is you guys just bought a big production studio. Is that right?
So we bought a large building.
A building, okay.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, 10 minutes from here. For makeup, I was thinking like pink browns type vibe. I think if I'm doing a lot of stuff, it gets oily quick because I'm gonna be doing media all day. I always look forward to content days, but then the morning when I wake up for it, I always feel the opposite because usually what happens is I wake up and there's all this shit for work. I start seeing shit pile up on my Asana board. I start seeing my Slack messages go off and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna do this. I can definitely get in my head where I'm like frustrated if I don't have the right energy, if I'm tired, if I'm distracted because I got a Slack message about something shitty, which happens like more often than not. It always ends up being better than I think it's going to be. And I always feel like no matter what's happening, I still show up and I can still get it done. And then I have to go do hair and makeup, which love the girls that do my hair and makeup, but I feel antsy when I'm getting it done because it feels like, oh my God, I wanna use my hands, I wanna use my eyes, I wanna be doing something else, which is why I like to take meetings when I'm getting my hair and makeup done.
All right, Michael and Ginny, we are here. Sit over here. Does that work?
So, this is an overview of the videos that we have for next week. I wanted to get some video ideas banked. We basically came up with two different titles that I wanted to get your opinion on.
Let me guess. New year, new me? I'm kidding.
It is how to reinvent yourself this year.
Uh-huh.
Or how to be the best version of yourself in 2024.
Where are areas that we can do content and make it easy? It's like, well, if I had a studio and Alex had a studio, it was all set up, then when I have an hour gap between meetings, we can just throw in a recording session. And that helps us facilitate content in a way that works for us and doesn't deter from the things that we're doing on a daily basis that move the business forward. So I mean, thinking about something that might be a better angle, because most people talk about building new habits. I'd rather talk about why that fails and learning how to break bad habits or habits that are not conducive any longer to your goals.
Tell me more about that. So you're saying that it's more important to get rid of the bad habits that hinder your self-growth and add new things to your life?
Right, because you can eat vegetables all day, but if you don't break the habit of overeating cake and ice cream, then you're not gonna lose weight. I've created a business where I have the flexibility that like there's an environment where it like makes my life better. I think that there's a certain level of media and content where if it goes beyond the scope of acquisition.com having control of it, say if we were to go like mainstream media, I would lose control and lose some autonomy, and I just don't know if I'd be willing to do that. I'd like the direction we're going now. I've already gone from like, all right, doing like 1 day a month to like 1 day a week. That's a huge jump for me. So we'll see. Let me have some time to think about it separately because I wanna come at it from a different angle, and I actually want to ask Trevor to help me tomorrow when I meet with him.
Perfect. I will do that.
All right, thanks guys.
No problem. Talk to you later. All right.
Bye. I took one bite, but they put them in the other room. I took that as a sign that I'm gaining weight and they don't want me to eat them.
Which room?
Where are they? They're in the kitchen. Alex and I have different ideas for our content, and as we get separate teams, it's gonna look different, but the idea was we wanna make it as easy as possible to make content. I don't want it to detract from what I'm already doing. I want it to be integrated as much as possible. I've just always focused on Alex's brand. It feels like, in a weird way, me focusing on mine, I don't like feeling like I put less focus on his, or I give less support to it in any way. But he is, listen, Alex is the first person to fucking tell me I need to pay attention to my brand. No, I know, he like mind fucks me into, doing what's best for me. I think that in starting acquisition.com, part of it was wanting to feel like a sense of community, even just for myself. I wish I had had that from somebody who I felt like I could trust and who didn't have ulterior motives and who genuinely wanted the best and who didn't withhold secrets. I see a lot of people that reach really high levels of success billions of dollars, but I feel like I can't relate to them. I would love to reach that point and feel like I've brought people along for the journey. That feels like a worthwhile challenge to have. I know, I just have 3 more things and I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I'm gonna be the same energy, you know what I'm saying?
Would you want to end the Q&A a little early then?
No, that's fine. No, we're fine.
Rolling whenever you're ready, Sam.
Hey, Layla.
Hey, Sam, how's it going? Hi, how's it going? What's up, Evan?
Hey, how are you?
So tell me, what was your question? If you're setting unrealistic expectations and saying I should be working 20 hours a day, then I would say like, okay, well, I'm not the right person to help you with this. I don't think that you're gonna function well. If it was irreversible, it would be justifiable to say it took 2 months to make this decision. But it's not irreversible at all. You would have learned more and gained more skills in the last 2 months if you had already made the decision. Just like you learn how to manage your team, you have to teach them how to manage you. Get out of your head and get into your behaviors. I have the habit of not wanting to offend people. And I think my voice, my demeanor, all these things contribute to, like, sometimes I watch my content, like, a little tough there. There's a difference between being rude or coming off with an arrogant tone when you're being direct and being direct in a way that gives people more clarity when they watch your content. I would like to get better at that, not just for content, but for my company. The skill of perspective taking is crucial to running a company. Every time I'm speaking, I try to address all concerns on a global scale, and then on an individual scale, address the individual concerns that I would believe would exist. I don't think that you can excite people about a company change until you've addressed their concerns. I think the team actually has done really great with the change now. There was really no talk when I announced it of like, here's how we're gonna split the teams. I didn't talk about the how, I just talked about the what and the why. It was about a year ago I met with some of the top people just in social media in general, and I asked them their team setups per channels, and they were like, as soon as you can split those teams, like, it's gonna help them so much, because their ability to edit your content versus Alex's will increase much faster if they're just doing one person's. That made a lot of sense to me, because it's the same as like product lines. I'm not gonna have somebody on 2 different products, because I know I'm gonna get more out of somebody if I have them focused on one.
Do you actually feel like making content helps you be more reflective and thoughtful?
I think that content does help somewhat with reflection, but it can be uncomfortable at times. I don't tend to dwell in my emotions, but when I make content, sometimes that's helpful in conveying how I felt about something and showing people that I do care about something. Because I watch my videos and I see people's response to the different ways I speak, and I can see what kind of words get the reaction I want, which is people to take action from the content, get value from the content. And I think that translates over to my team as well. Okay, and then this, I go back to right? Yes. And that's where I meet Caleb? Okay. Yes. I realized that like a lot of my playbook actually, and even just like how I make content came from Alex and not from me. But we have completely different days and lives. Obviously we have our life together, but like the way that he lives his life, the way I live mine, the way that he likes to structure things, the way I like to structure things, they're different. And so it wouldn't make sense that we would make content the same way. The separation has to occur at some point between him and the business. And I was just like, dude, I'm so sick of like living out of fear. We can't act like an old company. There's nothing, you don't gain anything doing that. I don't expect it to go perfectly.
All right, everyone, welcome to the show. We have Layla Hormozi, the CEO of acquisition.com here. Layla, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I think it's our job as we enter a new year, kind of asking our team and asking ourselves, like, how can we just push that little bit more? On your side, like, what's the areas that you're kind of looking at your team to kind of like, hey, is it more content? Is it growing the audience bigger? Is it more deal flow?
People see Alex and Layla and acquisition.com as one entity. I realized that I was growing, and so is Alex, frustrated with that perception. Alex has so many other things that he's going to be pursuing that it doesn't make sense to also have him so tied closely with acquisition.com. That starts with, we are separating our content teams. So there's gonna be Alex, Layla, and then there's gonna be acquisition.com. Okay. And right now we're making a lot of progress for the Alex and Layla because we've been sharing. And then we're gonna be bringing in people for the acquisition.com as soon as like these 2 are separate. I think the idea generation piece of it, of like what kind of content we should be making, will probably be the biggest increase, because as you have one team working on one and one team working on another, the ideas will start to generate faster and more because they have more thinking space, because they're not having to think and switch between 2. And so if we can focus them more, I think that they'll have more of that time to like level up their thinking and think like, oh wait, should we even be doing this platform for them like this? And like really rethink the way that we do content, probably in ways that we just haven't had the space to think about. And that's what I look forward to, is just like more creativity. That's the piece of the smooth transition that I think I feel really good about. Just adding more of me and then more of the team. Oh, okay. Hello.
This is definitely the most that
you film, right, on a day?
I mean, like, I feel like the YouTube and shit. So like in the beginning when we did shorts, when we worked with a vendor, he would be at our house from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. I mean, I think it went really good. I don't think we got a lot of like shorts.
Oh, really?
No, we agreed.
And which side of the business do you think is going to be bigger in the next decade? The media side of the business or the acquisition side?
I think that's a really tough one. I know as I've gotten better, I can see a year and 3 years out now. I think further than 5 years is tough for me. And it's specifically in areas that I am inexperienced. So content is not something that I've done before, and I haven't done it for more than a couple of years. And so I think it'd be silly to say I can predict which wing of the business would be bigger because I just have less that I can compare it to. I've studied way more business, not content. So I forgot we were doing this and wore these.
Nice.
It's almost like, I feel like it's like a gift from the world that like every film day, something just happens to happen. Like the last 2 film days, some big legal thing drops before we film. This film day, I don't get my period until it's 17 days late and it happens on film day morning. And I'm like in bed for an hour and a half, like just trying to be able to move. I think that's the difference between, I think, content creation versus like capturing the content is there's a lot less staging or perfection, I guess. I don't know. So Caleb had an idea to do what he called a walk and talk. He's always looking like, what are things that you're already doing that we could film content while you do? And I walk a lot. So he was like, we should just record while you're walking and make content. I would look at it and say, what do I gain from not doing what I know I need to do? You're gaining something, or you are avoiding a negative. You're avoiding stress, discomfort, the possibility of uncertainty. If you measure feelings, most of them pass within 20 to 30 minutes. So I just gotta get over the hump. I don't also think tired is bad. I think tired means I probably did a good fucking job. It's so hard to conceptualize goals. I had way more people I looked up to, and I just would ask myself, would they do this or not? Would this action get me further or closer to that person's life? I think that's a really useful frame for somebody who's just starting out, and you're probably not that great at setting goals. I don't care who it is. It could be your next door neighbor, as long as they're one step ahead. Often, if you're not where you want to be in life, it's better than remaining where you are and keeping your own whatever framework you've been using. No matter what's happening, I still show up and I can still get it done. But it does always feel like, at the same time, shit always happens right before I walk into a podcast or walk into film day or walk into a YouTube video. And I'm like, damn, if I didn't have this, if I wasn't doing both of these things, I feel like I would be so much better at content.
How do you manage knowing all these things are happening amidst a content day, but there's not a fucking thing you can do?
In the morning, make sure that I'm doing stuff so that I'm preparing everybody. They all know that I'm going to be doing something. They know where to put stuff if stuff's needed from me so I can get back to it later. You know, the assistants know they can call me if something's really urgent. But I mean, I'm not perfect. I check shit between all the stuff. I can't not. Like, I just like it. It's compulsive for sure. I just think it's part of the job. I'm exhausted.
I love it. No, we're good. We can walk back.
I mean, I can keep talking. I'm just like physically exhausted. You know, it's funny because like the end of a day of even like, 10, 12 meetings, like that feels different than the end of a content day. There's like a million engines running in the back of your head during a content day. I feel quite physically exhausted after I do them, but it feels satisfying. Like I like that feeling. I like feeling like a job well done, like I did my best. I did what I said I was gonna do. Usually after that, like I think that night I just went home and made some chicken nuggets and literally ate them by myself on the couch. There's no hair like going completely alfalfa on me right now.
The alfalfa check. I got alfalfa on 3.